देखिए, तीन सवाल जो हैं वो पाकिस्तान पर थे, एक सवाल जो है वो चाइना पर था। तो ये तीन सवाल जो पाकिस्तान वाले सवाल जो हैं मैं एक साथ लेना चाहूँगा ताकि बिकॉज दे आर ओवरलैपिंग क्वेश्चंस. First of all, let me say this. As a foreign minister of an SCO member state, Mr. Bhutto Zardari was treated accordingly. As a promoter, justifier, and I'm sorry to say spokesperson of a terrorism industry, which is the mainstay of Pakistan, his positions were called out and they were countered, including at the SCO meeting itself. So let me come to the specifics. On the China-Pakistan economic corridor, this so-called corridor, I think it was made very clear, not once but twice in the SCO meeting, that connectivity is good for progress, but connectivity cannot violate the territorial integrity and sovereignty of states. So this has been our long-standing position. Nobody should have any doubt about it. And I assure you, those who are in the room today had no doubt about it. I made sure of that. Regarding आपका दूसरा जो था वो G20 के बारे में था. Now, you know, I don't think there is a G20 issue to debate with anybody. Certainly not with a country which is nothing to do with the G20. I mean, Jammu and Kashmir was, is, will always be a part of India. And the G20 meetings are held in all the Indian states and union territories, so it is completely natural that it is held there. जो आपका जो दूसरा सवाल जो था कि from what I understood that India and Pakistan should sit together. You know, victims of terrorism do not sit together with perpetrators of terrorism to discuss terrorism. Victims of terrorism defend themselves, counter acts of terrorism, they call it out, they delegitimize it, and that is exactly what is happening. So to come here and preach these hypocritical words as though we are on the same boat, I mean, they are committing acts of terrorism. And, you know, I don't want to jump the gun on what happened today, but I think we're all feeling equally outraged. So, I think, I mean, let's be very, very clear on this. You know, on this matter, the terrorism matter, I mean, I would say Pakistan's credibility is depleting even faster than its forex reserves. So you know, let's be clear what this is about. On your question, you know, is this a breakthrough? Look, he came here as a member, a foreign minister of an SCO member state. That is part of multilateral diplomacy. Please do not see it as anything more than that. It was not meant as anything more than that. It was not treated as anything more than that. And I think nothing that from what he said or what I heard he said deserves for this to be treated more than that. The China question. Look, my understanding of what the Chinese said, I think they used the word stable, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is that there is an abnormal position in the boundary areas, border areas, along the boundary. And we had a very frank discussion about it. It's not the first discussion. I had spoken to Foreign Minister Chingang on the sidelines of the G20 as well. We have to take the disengagement process forward. And I have made it very clear, frankly, publicly as well, and you know, what I say within the room is not different from what I say outside, which is that India-China relations are not normal. and cannot be normal if the peace and tranquility in the border areas is disturbed. I've been very, very clear about it. I've been very consistent about it. And I have not changed my position at this meeting either.
Thank you. So, listen, in the interest of efficiency, please do not repeat similar questions or try to come back to it. I think, so I'll take fresh questions on that. Maha? Yeah.
Sir, Maha Siddiqui from NDTV. Sir, how does India view being part of an organization which is now largely being viewed as an anti-West grouping?
Yeah, Neeraj? One second.
सर नीरज हूँ न्यूज़ 18 इंडिया से। आपने कहा कि G20 से पाकिस्तान का कोई लेना देना नहीं है, लेकिन बिलावल भुट्टो ने यह भी कहा श्रीनगर में जो पर्यटन के मसले पर बैठक हो रही है, वक्त पर ऐसा जवाब देंगे कि उनको याद रहेगा। इस स्टेटमेंट को भारत कैसे देखता है?
देखिए, स्पेसिफिक ऐसे क्वेश्चन नहीं हो पाएगा। जवाब दे चुके हैं।
मैं इसका भी जवाब दूंगा।
Yes, sir, please go ahead. One second, no, please.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, gentlemen.
Thank you. Dmitry Melnikov from Russian TV. Sir, was Ukrainian crisis part of today's discussion, and did Mr. Lavrov tell you about the recent attack on Kremlin in Moscow, and what is your point of view? Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you. Microphone coming to you. No, him. Yeah, right.
Hello, sir. Rishikesh, Press Trust of India say. Sir, Pak FM also said that we should not get caught up in weaponizing terrorism for diplomatic point scoring. So, what are your views on this?
Manish, yeah, microphone? We'll take this 5.
Sir, Manish Chand, India Rights Network. Just before his meeting with you, Chinese Foreign Minister was addressing a function in honor of Dr. Kotnis, where he spoke about people-to-people contacts and finding a new path of peaceful coexistence. Did you see any signaling towards, some sort of peace move, some sort of restructuring of engagement?
Manish, she answered this question. Anyway,
No,
thank you, sir.
still the people-to-people part is important.
Okay, let me start with the anti-West, SCO perceived as an anti-Western grouping. Look, how people perceive it is something I cannot answer for. What I can say is it is a grouping where membership serves India's interests. India has a multi-directional foreign policy with many partners, and it's not always necessary or sometimes possible that all partners get along with other partners. So this is characteristic of the foreign policy in today's very fluid and I would say multipolar and sometimes uncertain, volatile world. So we are members of SCO because it serves our interests. It is a major Eurasian grouping. There are, most other members of this grouping are countries with whom we have strong bilateral relationships, obviously not all. I think really that's how I would present our participation. I will jump that question, come to the Ukraine question, because I want to take the Pakistan related questions together. On the Ukraine, I wouldn't say there was focused discussion on developments in Ukraine, including recent developments. There were references to it. There were some references to it in the SCO formal session. There was some reference to it in the informal meeting that we had of the foreign ministers yesterday. I think that would be really the right characterization of what happened in the room. Regarding the Kotnis, Dr. Kotnis question and people to people. Look, again, I think Arindam made the point. I mean, I've answered this in a way that relations today are not normal. So to suggest somehow that they are and everything else can continue, and while the relevant issues, the central problems are not being effectively addressed, I think it won't wash. That there are issues we need to discuss. I think both countries need to be clear about it. Now, it may be the endeavor or expectation to try and project exactly the kind of picture which you would suggest, but I would not go along with it. I certainly will not play along with it. Then on the जो आपका सवाल जो था, देखिए, I said उनका कोई G20 से लेना देना नहीं है. I will also say उनका कोई श्रीनगर से भी लेना देना नहीं है. There is only one issue to discuss on Kashmir, which is when does Pakistan vacate its illegal occupation of Pakistan occupied Kashmir. That is the only issue up for discussion. On the weaponization, it's a very interesting statement because it unconsciously reveals a mindset. What does weaponizing something mean? It means that the activity is legitimate and somebody is weaponizing it. So you say you are weaponizing trade, you are weaponizing technology. Somebody says you are weaponizing terrorism, that means they think terrorism is legitimate, that we should not weaponize it. That is normal. Okay. Now, what are we doing? We are countering ourselves, countering terrorism. We are defending ourselves. We are calling it out. We are exposing it. And some of it is what you saw today. So, to me, we are not scoring diplomatic points. We are politically, diplomatically exposing Pakistan before the world. And as a victim of terrorism, I'm completely entitled to do so. I mean, what do you mean we should not weaponize terrorism? That means as a victim, I'm supposed to put up with it. I mean, so you not only commit terrorism, but you say, oh, please do not even speak about it. I mean, come on. So, to me, that sentence, it spoke so much about a mindset of that country that you can all, see for yourselves.
Thank you. So we'll take a few more questions. Yeah.
सर, पाकिस्तान के विदेश मंत्री ने ये भी कहा कि पीस, सर इधर विजयलक्ष्मी हूँ इंडिया टीवी से. सर, पाकिस्तान के विदेश मंत्री ने ये भी कहा कि पीस इज आवर डेस्टिनी एंड वी शुड नॉट बी हेल्ड होस्टेज टू आवर हिस्ट्री. हम हिस्ट्री खुद क्रिएट करेंगे. लेकिन आज ही राजौरी में हमला होता है, हमारे कई जवान शहीद होते हैं. कुछ दिनों पहले पुंछ में भी हमला हुआ. लेकिन यहाँ पर पाकिस्तान का दोहरा चरित्र, हालांकि अंग्रेजी में आप जवाब दे चुके हैं इसका, हिंदी में चाहूंगी, क्या पाकिस्तान का दोहरा चरित्र इसी से जाहिर होता है?
इस टॉपिक पे बात 3 बार हो चुका है.
उसका सबूत भी चाहिए क्या?
प्लीज मैम.